Saludos, buenas tardes. La gente que está live, acá, acá. Welcome to episode number 3 of Keeping House Alive. I can't believe we're already in episode number 3, by the way. I'm still a little nervous, but I remember the first episode, I was all over the place. We had so much fun. We're now on episode 3. And today we have a very fun episode because I'm not gonna bore you with so much information, but I'm gonna do a little bit more of like storytelling, how things happen. I'm gonna paint it as colorful as I can. But before I start, I have to say, please, before anything, thank you to Miami Community Radio for picking me for this season, for being so kind and trusting the process. Thank you to dear Eleanor for the space, as per usual. And thank you to all of you. Today we have a special guest who's my friend, and you'll see it's gonna be a nice conversation later. So today I want to concentrate in the culture of house music. Culture, you will say, what do you mean culture? Even when I was thinking about this episode, I was thinking, what would be something interesting, not boring, to kind of talk about that means a lot, especially in the genre of house music? And culture is not only the DJs, because the DJs were basically leading, like the maestros of like setting a tone, an experience, an ambiance, a journey, a storytelling of some sort. But the culture is the people, the house heads that were there from day one when there was no house music, there was just music. The dancers. The dancers are really, really huge part of house music. Because I remember the days, and even if you look at videos from before, and this is something really cool to talk about because especially for the youngsters, the people who go and party and go out today and enjoy, like in festivals and clubs and whatever you go, you see it's the same, but it's not. And it's part of also of the house music culture to be in a constant change of progression of, we don't stay the same. When you listen to what's called today classic house, it doesn't really sound like what house sounds today, but it's still house. Same happens with the party goers, same happens with the way they dress and how they act. Like, for example, now we have all the social media and everybody's on their phones looking. And before, the pleasure of the DJ, what made the DJ go on was to lock eyes with somebody in the audience or somebody right in the middle of the dance floor and create this story and connect and make them dance and make them sweat and make them, all their hairs go like all over the place and you just forget. And they used to call this the services, like Saturday services, because it was like going to a freaking cult and staying there forever, connecting with everybody. The dance floor was the arena where everybody became the same for the sake of music and the rhythm, and like you were free for that one night, for that one moment that the DJ was painting that story. You could be whoever you are, whoever you wanted, from whatever you wear, dress however you wanted, and you were not to be judged When I started going now, which it wasn't really in the beginning of house music, but yeah, really. And I remember, and take into consideration, I was born and raised in the Dominican Republic, which is an island that doesn't have the same culture as here as the United States. The house music started here in between New York and Chicago. And it was an underground movement more than anything, more than a genre, more than like music itself. It was just a movement of people coming together for something, for letting go. And like I said, I will always say, be free. I will actually play that song later, Be Free. And when I started going out and going to these clubs and entering this experience, because you had the experience from the line that you made outside, and then you went inside, and I started seeing everybody around me, how different they were, how weird they were. All this drag queens and like people dancing to the beats and like moving, and the feathers and the costumes. My mind was exploding. I was mind-boggled. And I kept saying to myself, Patricia, keep it together. Los cadillos, deja los cadillos en tu casa. Por favor, compórtate, que estás alante de la gente. And I would just absorb all of this. When people were in there, time stopped for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. And we all came as one. I remember sitting down in a little corner or somewhere and just looking at the dancers, because the dancers were it. They would go and they would do battles and they would compete against each other. These people would practice all week to go and do these dances. They were athletic, they were spiritual, they were poses. Voguing was a huge part of it, and it was born in Harlem, actually. And it's a combination of the Harlem Renaissance, which was born at the beginning of last century in the 20s and 30s, which was really, really a group of artists in Harlem, and mainly queer and artists and poets and composers that had a movement. And that community grew. And when people were dancing disco, and then it became house music, there was a combination of that and the poses that actually people had in the magazine Vogue. And when they did the competitions that were before there were competitions, they were called performances. No, actually, it was competition before, and then it was called performances because they were actually very well put together. And voguing was born in between Harlem and the gays that were in jail. That was their way of throwing shade at other ones and actually catch attention from the other inmates. So they would do these dances and they would tell a story while dancing. You had to be really athletic to do these things, and that kind of like translated to the dance floor, and people started getting like their makeups done and the clothing for that and going to dance. The drag queens and the gays and everybody was competing against each other in a very amicable way. When I say competing, when I say competition, and people were there, and probably they didn't know any more than just their names and knowing that they had the same style that they could dance together, but it was very friendly to do so. And that was one of the things that me, per se, I didn't know how much I like house per se, like house music, but I like the community and the culture of house music, of how everybody could just express themselves in whichever way they wanted to. Music was like that kind of red string that held everybody together, and the DJs would just basically compose a story for you to dance and enjoy. When I say that, it's because I miss that. So there you go, dancing. And as a DJ, when I do connect with somebody in the audience and they come to me and they smile and they say, "Oh my God, the vibe," and they start like throwing like poses and like just looking at me, and I'm there, I'm playing for you, amigo mío. Like, do it. Like, I want to find that person. We all appreciate the social media. We all appreciate the spreading the voice of who we are. But like, really, really, this is still an underground thing to do. And there's some sort of comfortness of getting together for the love of music and dancing. It's really cool that today we have huge festivals that, kind of showcase huge artists and like people that there are mainstream names and all that, but it's also good to go and just find music, and you find it sometime in a little hole in the wall and unknown DJs just painting a story for you. Let me play this one because people used to bow to this when I used to go out. If you're a New Yorker, you probably remember Twilo, Roxy, Limelight, Sound Factory, all those clubs, Webster Hall, and you can probably remember. I'm gonna take you back because you know who this is, Celeda, and you would see all these people just slaying it there. Like, I did my best when I was younger, and I tried to get in one of those circles. And first, I'm like 5'4", and two, it was New York, man. But that was fascinating to me. And it was fascinating, the love and respect, the welcoming. Back then, my English wasn't very good looking, so I didn't know much English. But everybody understood each other. It didn't matter where you came from. It mattered that you were enjoying the music. Most of the artists today that are like in some sort of electronic, in the electronic arena. And let me talk about actually Madonna, because Madonna, who I freaking love, was the one that made voguing mainstream. It was there. But she would go to these clubs that I just said, Webster Hall, Sound Factory and all that, and see them. And then that's where she based her song, her track that became a freaking hit. But also, when artists would release tracks that were kind of electronic and inside the house music arena, they would go to clubs like Sound Factory and sit on top of the speakers to feel the bass, because that's when you knew, because that's what moves you. The bass is like the beat of your heart, and that's how you connect, and the bonding that you have. Actually, dancing is to dance with somebody else is a beautiful bonding, and your hearts, your BPMs match when you do this. Larry Levan, which was one of the first like celebrity DJs and one of the godfathers of house music, was a nerd and super OCD when it came to sound. He wasn't like, he would put together a set that it was sent from the heavens, but more than anything, that sound system was tuned twice a week because he wanted, and they wanted, that club to have perfect sound when it came to brightness and bass and all that. And he was famous for stop playing, let the record play, go to in the middle of the dance floor and start fixing the speakers, polishing the disco balls, and people would just follow him. It was like a god. Fun fact, Paradise Garage, which was this club where Larry Levan was actually made for him. It was the first club that was made for a DJ. The owner said, just hold off, don't play for anybody else. I'm gonna get a space, and I'm gonna get a club for you. I want you to supervise the sound of this club, which was legendary, Paradise Garage. When Paradise Garage closed in 1987, their glory days were 10 years. That sound system was the sound system that was used. They flew Larry Levan and the sound system to London, to the UK, and that was the sound system that was used in Ministry of Sound, the club. I think that's pretty cool. I think that's pretty awesome because if you know anything about electronic music, you do know Ministry of Sound. There's no doubt about that. Um, so yeah, to me, like I said, I didn't know how much I like house music per se, and I didn't have a style for a long time because there's so many like good tracks. And right now we have like different compartments for house music, and so many names I cannot even follow. I just stick to deep house. That's what I like. That what I love was actually being there, going out to these clubs, to these places, to these basements, to these lofts, to these parks, to this something spaces where everybody was enjoying themselves and being themselves. You got to be yourself and no one else. Love it. You can't be me. Imagine people dancing to this. I close my eyes and I go to Twilo, I go to Limelight, I go to freaking Sound Factory, and I can see them. I can actually see them. I remember, okay, this is how I'm gonna close it. I remember one day I was in Limelight, which was a church that was turned into a club, for those who don't know, in New York City on 6th Avenue and 20th Street. And there was a DJ. I cannot remember the name. I do not know the name of this DJ. But so you know why you go to these things and like why you feel the music. And he played a mix. I don't know if he made it on the spot of Be Free. And Be Free, there's a part that it's like you are at the church, and that was a church. And he made it with so much echo, the effect. And all he kept saying was, live your life, be free. Open up your heart. And let me tell you something, amigos y amigas. That was it for me. I don't remember what year it was. I just remember it was Limelight, and I remember it was that song. I would never forget how that DJ made me feel. Free. And with that, I think it's enough because I have a guest today, which is my friend, which is a producer, which is a DJ that I admire a lot. And he's always around doing interesting stuff and putting projects together, playing live, because now he has a project where he plays live with instruments and everything. He taught himself to play the piano. And he's from the La Isla Vecina de Puerto Rico. Con ustedes, Mr. Guti Talavera. Saludos, buenas tardes. Hola, querido. Mi amor. Yo traté de poner un poquito de musiquita antes que tú llegaras para que tú estuvieras un poquito orgulloso de mí.
Yeah, but what's up, everyone?
Pues Mr. Guti, I know for quite some time now, over a decade, I would say. We've done some stuff together that are
More than a decade.
more than a decade.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
And one thing is consistent is music in your life. I think I've seen you
Totally.
one time working an unrelated music job. All the time you're making music, all the time you're playing music, and if you're not doing that, you're thinking of when can you play or where would you play.
Yeah, life is music.
Life is music.
Yeah.
And is what I find is one of the most beautiful, powerful bonding that you can have with another person when you like music and when you share music. Like,
Yeah, that's the beauty of DJing. You're sharing music. Every DJ has a different style, a different song. Who's gonna play something different. That's the beauty of going to a party and listening to different DJs, because each one is gonna bring their own style, their own songs, and it's like when that's the beauty of it, like discovering new
New
songs.
songs.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And for example, like let's say I've been bringing people to come and talk to me uh, about music, about house music. Nothing specifically, because, like I said, like house is so wide and deep and broad to talk about, and we don't necessarily have to have the same style, but we would meet at some point of house music, and we would meet at some point of, oh, I like this producer. Like right now, you were sharing your one of your latest favorite producers,
Right.
and that is beautiful to actually sit down. I mean, I only have an hour, but I can literally, Miami Community Radio can have me here just talking about any type of like music and play music. How, when, or what can you say about when you started liking music, or when you said like, I want to play music?
It actually was by accident. I When I started DJing, I just wanted to scratch,
Okay,
and
makes sense.
and when I went to buy my first records, trying to find scratch records, the guy selling me the records, he's like, "Okay, I don't have scratch records, but listen to this." And that's when he pulled out this record and he played it. I'm like, "Okay, I like that. I like that. I'll buy it." It's like, and then he kept like putting out records. I'm like, "I like that too." And he's like, "Oh, okay, you like house music." And I had no clue what house music was. I was like 15, 16 years old back
Uh-huh.
in 1997. Um,
You just
and
knew
I,
you liked those tracks.
yeah, and I had no clue what house music was. You know, it's like, oh, okay. And then as time went by, I I ended up, some friends. I went to DJ at a party, but I had no clue how to. I
Mix.
just knew how to scratch. Yeah, and a friend told me, it's like, man, you like this guy I met at this place. He's like, you just need to learn how to mix. So you should go to this place in Old San Juan. It was called the Gallery. They had an open turntable night there, and I went there, and like the friend told me, go there. I think it was Tuesdays or Wednesdays, and they'll teach you how to mix there. And I went there, and they taught me. Yeah, good friends. They're actually lifelong friends right now.
So as a teenager, you started scratching.
Yeah, yeah. I started. That's how I began DJing. I just knew how to scratch. Later, when someone saw me, it's like, dude, how is it that you know how to scratch but you don't know how to mix? I'm like, I have no clue. I just like music. I just like scratching, and yeah.
See,
Thankfully, I met someone who taught me.
I find that very interesting because I don't know how to scratch.
Yeah.
And if you put, I've tried with the digital, and it's a mess. So when you say to me, mixing and remixing is a lot easier than scratching. So you're telling me, no, no, I started with scratching and I had to learn how to mix because that what came natural to you was like scratching.
Yeah, well, at least that was what I was interested in.
Interesting and
In
aiming
that,
for.
yeah, at the beginning, yeah. Later, when these friends saw me and they're like, okay, you just need to learn how to mix, and they taught me the concept. It's pretty easy. But yeah, like back then, I would just be like what you call right now a selector. You know, just putting tracks down, and I would I would just scratch over the song, like, and then play another song and scratch over that song.
That's
Um,
awesome though.
oh yeah, totally. But yeah, now with learning how to mix, it's a game changer because then you make those seamless transitions, and you can the what I like is making this story, right?
Absolutely. That's exactly
Where
what I was talking before. How the DJ builds.
Yeah, yeah, but interesting. Back in the day when I started DJing, like at clubs, like you didn't see the DJ. The DJ was, hidden behind, a one-way mirror, booth, and that was interesting because then you just couldn't look at a DJ. You just had to listen at the music and dance.
For sure. And in a way, I think that's what people like Daft Punk was trying to do, enclosing themselves and
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
like, okay, I'm here, I'm forgetting about, and it doesn't matter, they don't know who I am, and I mean, they do a pretty good damn job, but
Yeah.
like, but yeah, it's true. I mean, DJs weren't showcased as we are having showcased in the past, like what, like 10 years or so.
Yeah, yeah, well, at least 20 years or more, like with the raves, right? Where
Uh-huh.
you didn't have that DJ booth,
Uh-huh.
but in the clubs, I love that fact where there's different clubs where you didn't see the DJ. There was the bar and the dance floor.
Yep.
The music came from
From
above,
the
you know.
from the
Yeah, the
gods. And we
gods.
were gifted a set by divinity.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, but still, at the end of the day, it's all about the music, and now it's changed, right? It's more, you
Absolutely.
know, like the, like it's like,
Of everything.
how do you say? It's an altar, you know,
Exacto.
and you stand in front of it, and and you preach to the people.
That's true. And let me tell you something. I started by kind of by coincidence or just because. And I started with something very simple. I didn't start with this. And I started like about 20 years ago covering for a friend of mine that was a DJ every time he needed to take to smoke a cigarette or go to the bathroom. He'll say like just play this and play that and whatever. And then he just heard me a couple of times and said like your transitions are like very good. Like you can do a transition because I was beat matching with my foot. Like
Ah,
old
yeah,
school, right?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
that's why when people say like, "Oh, the sync bottom," whatever, I'm like, whatever works for you. That's gonna be a conversation between DJs that like whatever. But like, beat match with your heart and beat match when you with your foot, and you'll be all right.
Yeah.
But it was so simple before, and I had to take my CDs with me.
Yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah.
right now, look how small the USBs are. But before, you had to take all that stuff with you. Imagine back in the day when you had to take all the the records, and they could, if you scratch them, that's it.
And then after records, you had to carry your
Your bag.
CD your CD
Case.
cases. It was crazy.
Heavy.
Yeah. Oh.
Super heavy, and especially in New York. Like your tire is cold. You need to get on the train, and you have all this equipment. Just want to get home. Just want to get home. Anyway, anything new you're working on now? I know that you have a
Oh,
show
yeah.
coming up.
Yeah. I have a show coming up in November 15th at Tripping Animals
Woo
in
woo.
Doral. Pretty excellent brewery. If you haven't been, I highly recommend it. But yeah, I'm gonna be doing my show made from scratch with my good friend Damien J Project.
Shout
He
out to Damien.
he plays the saxophone, um, and I'll be playing there some new unreleased music.
That's
Um,
awesome.
so yeah, it's gonna be and it's also like the sixth anniversary of the brewery, so it's gonna be a huge party, like whole weekend long. So yeah,
Mark your calendars.
and plus yeah, hopefully I'm planning on releasing a new album
Nice.
um, before the end of the year. So, yeah,
Give it up to Guti Talavera.
yeah,
By the
yeah.
way, if you're not following him yet, follow him on Instagram or any platform. Guti
Yeah.
Talavera.
Instagram,
Instagram,
YouTube,
Facebook, YouTube,
Spotify, Apple Music. Yeah,
all of it. Give him some love. Tell him that you saw him here today, that you're waiting for the new album, for the new production to come. And I think it's time to start playing music. Because we wanted to talk about music, but we want to play music. That's what we do.
Yeah.
My contribución is to share with you some information, some valuable, fun, cool information about house music. But ultimately, we want to play some tracks. So with that, I am gonna give Mr. Guti, because he's my guest, the lead. And nada, we're just gonna have some fun. Thank you, everybody, acá live, for tuning in.
All
you know,
right.
time is the most valuable thing. A DJ would know how much a minute costs. Whenever you want, Guti.
calm the spirit and couple on that loud tune. Got this whole feeling soundproof, I doubt you. Got stamina for the round two, round move. Left quicker than it took you to come. A little gamble on my heart and a few in the club. She made me put it on black, see the truth in the dark. And I was too deep on a beautiful love. Without removing the mask, I'm only human the blood. She really good what it does, and I don't boost enough. I don't know what you're waiting for. And then why? See, it's all about the weight you throw. It's all sex in the city like HBO. They won't let you in the club and fuck up the ratio. On the stage like James, no Macy, yo. Once you're down already, ain't no place to go. Second down already, I got place to go. Lost control of the cruise like Katie Holmes. Y'all should know not to play with Jones. Worldwide, they appreciate the flow. Got a couple checks, I just save it though. I'm no accountant, I can count like Basie though. I'm looking around like where my 40 acres go. I bet I burned that about an eighth ago. She say you better stay away if you pay below. It's a birthday, she looking for the cake to blow. Dancing for you, honey, I need your sugar rush. Promise, baby, I won't wait. I'm feeling for your love. Dancing for you, honey, I need your sugar rush. Promise, baby, I won't wait. I'm feeling for your love. I say cheese for the picture, sweet like a swisher. You the sugar, honey, iced tea. They say you way out of my league. I ain't got a trick, it's my tree. Hands high, it's a sticker. I ride with my niggas, but when am you in the front seat? Act a fool, can't take them anywhere we go. Hey, cool, but get your hands off my. Chillin' with them college-ins, kiss me the collagen. I see you modeling, at least get some collagen. I mean, at least get your GD. The flow sick, someone please call the CDC. TBT, they ain't see me as a threat. Look, now I'm hitting triple-double like I'm Russell Westbrook. They get shook when they hit away, I'm coming now. Hope the summer down, what's with all the runaround? Wild goose chase, I'm done with it. I shoot fades, y'all ducking it. Y'all shoot breaks, you bucket list. Every year I gotta write a new bucket list. Don't make me call you by your government. Rappers ain't shit without they publicists. Something's up with these girls on the net, man. And booty, y'all don't Reebok what you pumping with. I'm getting right to the pumpernickel. Traveling like I just double dribble. You're stepping, I study the fundamentals. All the tail flags, drop a fucking missile. A couple issues need addressing, right? Academy teaching lessons like when you see me better recognize. As bad as she is, I might let it slide. pain. Take pleasure in knowing my life has changed. I found love. I found love. I found love. A higher love. True love. I found love. I found love. I found love. Oh, I found love. A higher love. A higher love. I found love. I found love. I found love.
Y con este clásico vamos a terminar este set candela. Un clasiquito para la eternidad. Dios mío. Guti, qué bueno tocar contigo. Nunca habíamos tocado juntos. Señores, esto es una primicia. Pues miren, ha sido un placer para mí traerle un poquito de cultura con sabrosura. And bringing you a little bit of flavor of house music to share the decks with a friend, with a talented producer and DJ as Mr. Guti Talavera. And like this, we're gonna say bye-bye, but before, I wanna say thank you again, not only to Guti for coming and giving him his time to be here, but to Miami Community Radio, as per usual, for the opportunity, dear Eleanor for the space, my mega producer, Ani Luli Muñecas, behind the cameras, and all of you who have tuned from your house, and the live, and the side. I see Anilu Muñecas ahí, desde Puerto Rico. Anilu, Ali. Y nada, señoras y señores.
Yeah.
This was episode number 3. I had a lot of fun. Did you have fun?
I did.
And with this, we say bye-bye. Have a good night, guys.
Watch out.
The depth of who the groove moves us to, the end who we're going through to, or here's who. I couldn't ask for another. No, I couldn't ask for another. DJ Soul was on a roll. I've been told he can't be sold. He's not vicious or malicious, just be lovely and delicious. I couldn't